You have an incubator in Argentina, which I want to talk about a little bit in a minute. You started SGN,
Yep.
and you also launched a company at TechCrunch 50, the conference we're not supposed to say, the other conference last year. So tell us a little bit about your experience launching on stage and what your advice would be for the companies that we're about to see in a couple minutes.
Absolutely. No, it's a whirlwind. I mean, it's a very intense pressure cooker. So,
but even for you, you're kind of a seasoned guy.
No, it was, and with that extra seasoning, it was even more of a pressure cooker. No, it's overwhelming, and it's an amazing opportunity and I don't think there's anything like it in terms of launching a new company to the world. So I talk about it as very much like Disrupt is like American Idol, for technology, right? In the high tech space. So, if you have the privilege to be able to be part of this, it's a great place. My advice is be yourself, stay true to what you believe in and your vision. Surround yourself with the best advisors and mentors and people who've been through this kind of experience before.
Right.
Have your message down. I mean, I even remember. I don't know, we probably rehearsed our thing like to, the second, at least 500 times. And,
Is that an exaggeration or real?
No, for real,
times?
like hundreds and hundreds of times. Whether it was exactly 500, I don't know.
But hundreds.
But it was hundreds. And it was,
Don't lie to me, Shervin.
I will not lie to you. No. Foundergate. No, so basically, but then when you looked at that, we finished right like almost to the second, right, which was amazing. So I was really proud of our team. And so
what about having like a somewhat scary, creepy looking toy on stage with you? Wearing Ray-Bans. Does that help?
That helps. Yeah. have Chucky with you on stage.
Right.
Right.
Right. If anyone is watching and doesn't get the joke, Shervin's company, ToyBots, was it was a prototype version of a stuffed animal that will be charming at some.
We were.
How is that company going?
What was amazing is we spun it off. It's amazing. It's an inside joke. So basically,
it's our own TechCrunch drinking game. We've talked about Paul Cars earlier.
It was an amazing experience and an opportunity to launch the company. And we spun it off, and the IP, everything is there. So there'll be some announcements on that in terms of funding.
So it's not dead. It's coming out.
No. But that technology is pretty future forward, right? I mean, it'll all take place over the next 3 to 5 years.
Right.
And this is all connected toys that are connecting via 3G and Wi-Fi. So that world is coming. It's not like internet service that that you're launching a consumer internet brand and you're live like the next day. So
I like when we have those companies though. One of the ones that jumped out at everyone from our first year we did at the conference was Fitbit, which took several years to come out, but it's a really interesting company.
I agree, and I think actually that's one of my kind of investment thesis is that basically what's happened in the internet consumer space in terms of the expense of actually, building a company has come down significantly, exponentially down, over the last decade or so, and the speed at which you do it. So you need less money to raise that. So there's a slew of this generation of entrepreneurs that now really have honed their skills in doing that, and doing that over and over again. In the hardware space, that hasn't happened fully yet. But what I'm predicting is, when I've talked to other people, is things like Fitbit are going to happen more and more. So the same trend's going to happen over the next 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, where you're going to see the ability to launch actual hardware, software products by entrepreneurs being done almost at the same rate as internet consumer
So is that a more
services.
Interesting space for someone investing in new companies now than the internet? So Peter Thiel said earlier.
It is. I mean, I'm seeing more and more interesting things. I mean, it's going to take time, and you have to be a more patient investor. And again, like I'm looking for big ideas.
Yeah.
And I just launched incubator.co, and we had the tweet roulette thing go out with this 15-year-old amazing entrepreneur Stephen Howe, who did iTunes Instant. And we're living in a world where teen entrepreneurs And I think even like, you're going to see, I just met a guy who was 82 years old who worked with Charles Schultz.
Awesome.
And he had more energy than any young entrepreneur that I've ever seen.
Right.
So, I think you're going to see more and more people of all ages coming into entrepreneurship. And that's a good thing. I don't buy that it's only done by one band of age.
Right, and I think statistically that Kauffman Foundation has done some research that actually showed that most entrepreneurs are in middle age, most successful entrepreneurs. I think where you get into the trickiness with that is a lot of the ones who've started huge multi-billion-dollar companies do tend to be in that younger age range. So what about you? Do you think you're a better entrepreneur now than you would have been in your, now you're like 30, but like when you were 18.
Right. I think it's interesting.
I mean, it's kind of the Mozart phenomenon.
So, well, I think Mark Pincus is a good example because he's in his 40s.
He's old.
Right?
He's really old.
No, but I mean, he's a great entrepreneur, right? And so he had multiple companies that he's done. He never had a Zynga, and Zynga is one of the fastest growing companies in history, right? And so, I think all of his previous companies were a build up to that experience, so there's that. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's Zuckerberg, right? Who's started the company at 18, and is 26, and now he's giving away $100 million to Newark public schools, and that's pretty amazing. And those are, I think, once in a generation kinds of opportunities where a Bill Gates comes around.
I mean, he's much, and I said this at the beginning, like of the Web 2.0 wave. To me, Zuckerberg has never been an everyman of Web 2.0. I mean, he's much more like the long history of just those really rare visionary, hard-charging, like, look, I mean, the movie being total crap notwithstanding, he's not a perfect guy, and he's not totally a guy you would want to be in business with, but that hard-charging, intense, just has a vision in the right place at the right time, like Andreessen, Jobs, Bill Gates.
And all
he's
of
like
them
one of those
have one
kinds.
trait in common, which is they stay true to their beliefs and their vision. And and hard charging and hard nosed, and like you're stubborn about your vision. And if you're right about that vision and you don't let anyone dilute it, then in that kind of crystal perfect formation, as you execute, you can create these incredible global companies.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about two things before we go. So first of all, you've got two companies you're invested in that are going to be launching here. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
I'm really excited. I'm actually wearing one as Quickie.
How did you decide which one to wear the T-shirt of? I've had startups, so I loved all their children.
They gave me the shirt. The other one, I didn't have a shirt.
Wow, lesson to the other one. Actually give your investor the shirt and he'll wear it. Billions of people are watching this now. You've blown it. So, tell us about them. Tell us about the shirt one first.
Quickie is was a super stealth company that I met the founders of and was just blown away. And so I was one of the earliest advisors and an investor now. And they were super stealth in a garage, and actually my former garage space on Florence in Florence Street in Palo Alto. And the co-founder.
Wait, so you were just in a garage, and then someone else?
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is just a garage on loan to different.
The garage is actually above the secret society. What is it?
The cabal, the angel cabal.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they're doing all their price fixing. You're colluding.
No.
Are you colluding on garage
I forgot
prices?
the name of the. It's the funniest space. You have to go to it. There's no windows. It's just the garage door. And a number of companies have come out of us and now Quickie. So anyway, so basically, Quickie, one of the co-founders is basically considered the father of internet search. He was the founder of Alta Vista, Louis Meunier, and Doug and Brucey. They basically, their vision was to build a pretty core technology that you put in one, you search, and in seconds you get back this unbelievable video response that is a tutorial about and it teaches you. They call it the information. They call it the information experience, and so you'll see they're launching a 215 today. So everybody, to check it out. I don't want to, say too much because I think it's going to change the world. It's one of the, and it's got
not to overhype it, but it'll change the world.
Not to overhype it, but it's going to change the whole universe.
You'll never be the same after this pitch, so don't miss it.
And I'm actually sincere about that.
Tell us about the non-t-shirt giving startup.
So the other one is Tello, and so they're doing some really interesting. It's the seventh company that the founders has started, and a number of
seventh.
And do you know Joe Benedetto. So he was funded by Kleiner Perkins before.
What did he do before? Are we familiar with the
It
companies
was that
before?
photo company that does, that was that printer that, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
But it would print the pictures for like grandma and like, normal. So you would email it and it would print
Right.
family pictures and things like that. So, but Tello is basically going to do some really interesting things in terms of being able to interact with customer support people of all kinds of companies, and you actually start rating them.
Interesting.
Regardless of what experience, like you might have been in a restaurant and or at a Starbucks, or you just had a customer support call, and you can actually rate your experience almost like a Foursquare type app. So
that's they have a lot of that in China, like in different places. So they're so obsessed with like KPIs and measurement in China.
Yeah.
Like when you go through the immigration line, there's varying degrees of sad face to happy face, and you have to like rate them after each exchange.
Yeah.
And the restaurants will hand you a card, then you're supposed to mark up which happy to sad you are. So it's sort of like a
pretty
digital
cool.
version of
I mean,
that.
they're going to change it, and for me, it was more of like a personal, like I wanted that.
I was going to say, good
and
God,
the
everyone
founder
can
is
get behind
amazing.
that. We've all had such bad.
Exactly.
I guess the key is, does it
create
make
a good
difference
marketplace
if you have so much data coming in? Like, I mean, how does it really change the consumer experience?
Well, I think the companies are going to pay attention because, right now this is happening on Twitter where people start complaining and they're like, hey, Comcast cares, like, this sucks. And then suddenly, exactly, you don't care.
That's
and then they actually like respond to you afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting, but I don't want to say too much because they're about to launch.
You don't want to steal their thunder.
I don't want to steal
So we've got a couple more minutes. I want to talk about how the incubator in Argentina is going. A lot of our audience may not realize that right when Disrupt ends, Endeavor, which is an amazing organization that does a lot for entrepreneurship in emerging markets, is having their international selection panel in Pebble Beach, and then they're having an event in Silicon Valley. So it's a lot of emerging market entrepreneurs are here to be at both, and you have some of your companies have come up for that, right?
Yeah, no, there's a number of people that I've supported, and there's amazing entrepreneurship is happening in Argentina and Brazil and Chile. So the delegation is coming, and Wences is helping host them with Endeavor. There's an incubator that I've helped get off the ground called Del Apollo that's there. And then also SGN, we've got like 45 engineers there building
45, man! I was in that office.
Games.
We didn't have that many.
Yeah, you were there with the pool on the rooftop. And
yeah, unfortunately, I was too busy working. I didn't get to go and indulge in that pool. And, you just took off for Paris or something. We flew to Argentina, and then you were like, "See you later, Lacy. Here's a steak. Here's a steak and some cigars and some Johnny Walker Blue, and I'm out of here."
Yeah,
so most people would say steak and cigars and Johnny Walker Blue. That's a lot of hospitality. Yeah, we went to a place literally where it's like Fred Flintstone sized.
Yeah, the steaks are like the bone comes out.
It knocks
like
over your table like the car in the Flintstones.
Yeah, exactly, and you just drive away.
Right. Or you try, but you can't.
You're too heavy to go away.
We're about to toss to the event any minute, but in maybe one sentence, what do you love so much about Argentina?
The energy, the brilliance. It's just the brilliance of and the creativity of the engineers is, I think, very unique in the world. So a lot of the things that we've solved technically at Social Gaming Network is basically was done in Argentina, and so it's a really interesting mix of cultures. They call it the Paris of Latin America in many ways, and it is like that because you've got Italians and all kinds of cultures from Europe that have immigrated there over the past 100-something years, and so it's a great mashup.
We got to run.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for helping wrap up lunch for me. Back to the event.
Bye.